Hi guys, welcome back to A Page in the Chapter, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Paige, and today we are once again seeing if Goodreads can change my mind. So I have filmed one of these videos before, I believe, and the premise of this video is that 4 books that I have rated 3 stars, very middle of the road reviews, I read the 5 stars and the 1-star reviews, and I see which side I agree with more and see if anyone can, swing me to the other side. I don't actually change my ratings on Goodreads just because when I read it and wasn't influenced, I rated it 3 stars. So that's gonna stay as my review, but it's just all in good fun really to see if my opinion of a book can be changed by Goodreads reviews, and we'll see how easily influenced I am. So if you guys like the sound of this video, do feel free to hit that big red subscribe button. Also, go and check out the first one of these videos that I did, because if you like this one, you'll probably like that one. Also, do feel free to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Page and Chapter. You'll get to see what I read as I'm reading it and influence things that go on this channel. So do please feel free to do that if you are interested. And now let's get on into seeing if Goodreads can change my mind. I have my trusty laptop here. The first book that I rated 3 stars that we're gonna see if Goodreads can change my mind about is Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. I thought this was a perfectly fine book, perfectly enjoyable. It just wasn't really the feminist retelling that was sold to me, and it tried to do way too much in such a short book. The book spanned like far too many years, and I think it should have really narrowed its focus and gone into more depth. So that's my review of it. And now we can see what other people's reviews of it are. Ignore how far behind on my Goodreads challenge I am. Reviews we go. And we'll start with the 1-star reviews. Also, I'm so sorry about the reflection, but I cannot film this video without my glasses. So this person has said, I would not say this was a feminist retelling in any way. Ariadne makes one decision in the beginning of the book and then becomes a brittle leaf in the wind, blowing whichever way at the mercy of the men around her. I completely agree with this. I would even say the decision that she makes at the beginning isn't really her decision. She is heavily manipulated and influenced by Theseus, and then she's literally just at the will of men. There's absolutely nothing feminist about this book at all. The entire book felt like you were holding your breath on the edge, waiting for something to happen, waiting for that moment to start caring for the characters or be stunned by an amazing plot, just for none of that to occur. That's how I felt. This book has absolutely no idea what it is trying to say or what story it is trying to tell. Yeah, agreed. It literally gives you like different perspectives from different characters, and just it follows such a huge amount of time that yeah, it has absolutely no idea what it's trying to tell. It sells itself as the story of Ariadne and Theseus. That's like the first 50 pages, and then after that it's something entirely different. If she really wanted this to be a feminist retelling of Ariadne and Theseus, I would have just focused on the Ariadne and Theseus parts. I wouldn't have followed like the 50 years after that. So this person who gave it 5 stars, I was invested in the sister stories, both Ariadne and Phaedra, that's how I pronounce it, how they survived in a world where men and gods rule. Yes, they did survive in a world where men and gods rule, but they didn't get any kind of say. They didn't excel in this world. They didn't make any kind of note on this world at all. I don't find that convincing. A lot of these reviews are just talking about how people are generally interested in mythology, and I understand why that. I understand how that's why you would be interested in this book. I think that's why we were all drawn to this book. But I don't think that your personal interest in mythology is a reason to give this 5 stars. I think we've already seen that I'm more swung and more in agreement with the 1-star reviews here. I'm honestly not going to read any more 5-star reviews because they're all just talking about how much they love myths or myth retellings in general, and none of them are really very specific to this book. So the next book on my list that I gave 3 stars is Crazy Rich Asians, the first book. Now looking back, I already am leaning towards giving this a lower rating because the second book in the series, China Rich Girlfriend, was just so awful that it's kind of tarnished my enjoyment of the series overall. So I'm going to start with the 5-star reviews anyway, and we'll keep switching which one I start with in case whichever one I read first is more influential. But just off like personal from the small remembrance of this book, I'm already leaning towards giving it a lower rating. Okay, so to summarise this massive long review, this person is just talking about how they are from Singapore. They used to follow a blog from one of these like crazy rich Singaporeans, like put up the details of her life and her spending, and this was a form of escapism for this person, and they're talking about how they just find it to be very relatable from the small interaction they've had with that world from their cultural background. And this person is talking about how it satirizes this wealth and how gossip travels. I didn't really get the satire. Like, this book wasn't funny to me. Right, my camera just stopped recording, so I'm going to quickly fill you in on what we talked about that I have the screen recordings for. One thing that was quite convincing about a lot of the 5-star reviews is that they are written by people of an Asian heritage or a similar kind of heritage. At least it's very like culturally written in that sense. Like, that's a big pro for the book. Someone also said that these characters are really well written and have really distinct voices, and that it was very easy to keep track of how many characters there were and who was talking because they all had such distinct voices. And I like vehemently disagree with this. I think all of the characters are so unbelievably shallow, but like written in a bad way too, and the only clear voices that I could pick up on were Rachel's and Astrid's, and everyone else like really got mixed up in my head. And then going to some 1-star reviews, the very first review under 1 star starts with a quote that I very strongly agree with. Shallow characters don't mean shallowly written characters, and this is very much going off what I disagreed with of the 5 stars before I even read this review. These characters are just written in such an awful, confusing way. And then someone has voiced a complaint and given this 1 star because every single rich person in Singapore is presented as this shallow, awful person, and they voice a complaint that Rachel then kind of turns into someone who loves and wants this lifestyle, and I don't know if I would agree with that. I would say definitely by the end of the first book, I wouldn't say that she wants this lifestyle or that she really wants anything to do with this lifestyle. She's just kind of in awe of the lifestyle that her boyfriend's family has, but I definitely wouldn't say that she's striving to achieve it. And I don't think even if she was striving to achieve it, if that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, don't we all want more money, really? And so yeah, that's to catch you up. We then have Alex Approximately by Jen Bennet. I also gave this one a 3 stars, but I enjoyed it so much more than Crazy Rich Asians, so they probably don't both deserve 3 stars. But let's kind of see what Goodreads are saying about this book. I started with the 5 stars last time, so I've got to start with the 1 stars this time. I hate books that are cringy and I hate books that are pretentious, but it's so rare for me to get the opportunity to hate one that is both. I disagree with this. I don't think the writing was pretentious at all. I did not get that from this book, and I wouldn't necessarily have said it was cringy. Predictable, yes. Predictable was like one of my main critiques of this book, and that's not even that much of a bad thing. I can't think of any moments that I found particularly cringy or made me cringe. Okay, the plot lacked substance. This person wanted some kind of slow tension, some realization that appearances can be deceptive, characters actually finding out the truth or something. There's barely any interactions between these two characters on an online setting. I do kind of agree with that. The plot is very superficial and neither character really learns anything about their judgment of other people or not to keep secrets from each other, and you really don't get a lot of these online conversations between the two, so you don't really get to see a whole lot of backstory between them. Okay, there's also the comment that she's not like other girls. I just kind of expect this from most YA romances now, especially because I don't think this is a new one. I don't really know if you can criticize this for being slightly outdated when I'm pretty sure that it's an older book. And to be honest, I don't hate reading Not Like Other Girls, and this was definitely not the worst example of Not Like Other Girls that I've seen. It didn't really jump out to me on the page or scream at me like I'm not like other girls, so disagree on that front. I don't really love when people give books 1-star reviews when they've gotten to less than 50% in the book. I don't mind reviews of a DNF as long as you've got far enough in. This person says they DNF'd at the 39% mark. Like, fair enough to DNF it. I don't know if you are really in a position to be giving it a 1-star review. Okay, right, let's go to the 5 stars, please. Yeah. This person has said the characters, the writing, the romance is all very engaging. There was not a time when I thought it boring. That's kind of how I felt. Like, I wasn't bored for a moment during this book. I actually had a really good time with it. I just didn't think that it was a blow me away kind of book, but I had a really good time. Bailey is apparently a very relatable main character, this person has said. People are saying they found it very addictive. And so with reading these reviews, I'm pretty confident in saying that I was right to give this a 3 stars. I am influenced more and agree far more with the 5-star reviews on this one. I do think that it was objectively a good book, just didn't think it was anything to phone home about. So I'm sticking with the 3 stars. But yeah, definitely do not agree with most of these 1-star reviews. It was a good book. Now it's time for a slightly controversial one. The next book that I gave 3 stars and we're gonna discuss is You and Me on Vacation. So this is a friends to lovers about our main characters Poppy and Alex, and they used to go on yearly vacations, and then something happens on one vacation and they don't speak again for like 2 years. Poppy is like feeling really down about her life and like really confused about her career and things like that, and so the last time she remembers being happy was on a trip with Alex, and she ropes him into going on another trip with her to rekindle their friendship. Now, this is kind of the same as Alex approximately. For me, it was really enjoyable. Like, it was an enjoyable read. I got through it quickly. However, I found the flashback scenes to be so incredibly boring. I did not want to read them. It didn't really sell me on friends to lovers. There was no real tension. It was very predictable what had happened in the past. I just wasn't convinced by their romance, really. Also, a little bit cheaty. Like, if my boyfriend was acting with his girl best friend the way Poppy and Alex were, I would be absolutely fuming. And like, Poppy's getting on her high horse about how Alex's ex-girlfriend didn't like her. Like, yeah, of course. This book is also a nightmare because it has a different title in the UK to the US. In the UK it's called You and Me on Vacation. In the US it's called The People We Meet on Vacation. I think The People We Meet on Vacation is a much better title, having read the book. That's actually a line in the book, so You and Me on Vacation just sounds childish to me. Let's start with some 5 stars anyway. I honestly don't really remember what I did last time. I think I did 1 stars last time. We'll start with the 5 stars now anyway. And this book like blew up on TikTok, so I'm sure that most people will disagree with my 3-star rating. Friends to lovers excellence, if you will. That kind of suggests that this person is already a fan. This book was full of mutual pining, inside jokes, and amazing chemistry. I didn't really get that. Alex doesn't really have any feelings. He was a very hard character to love. It felt like a very one-sided relationship to me. Cute, wholesome, hilarious and passionate as Poppy and Alex. I think we just read different books. Okay, this person says they're not a fan of friends to lovers, so maybe this person will be able to convince me. Okay, I think why this book works for me is because we got to see flashbacks of how they met and all the vacations that they took together. This is what really didn't work for me. There was a lot of tension and a will they won't they kind of thing in the present day. And if it had been a whole book of that, I think that would have been better for me. Like, I like tension in books. It's why we all like an enemies to lovers, because it's the tension that gets us. But with the flashbacks to their friendship, it was just kind of like snore. Like, okay, I'm watching 2 friends go on holiday together. Like, it was so boring. Almost maddening slow burn opposites attracts friends to lovers romance. It wasn't maddening slow burn. I don't remember it being particularly slow burn. I read this book, honestly, in like July, August, and I don't remember most of it already. And this person talks a lot about how they love Poppy as a main character. I got very I'm not like other girls from Poppy. She, I believe, keeps going on about like millennial ennui, and like just get over yourself. You have a successful career that allows you to take paid trips all the time. Your life is not that hard. Like, she just didn't understand how privileged she was and just kept complaining about being a millennial. I feel like this is something that happens to every generation, but the thing that, like, growing up as a Gen Z that always annoyed me the most about the millennials is how much they complained about being a millennial. This book had that. Let's go to the 1 stars. Apparently Alex and Poppy loved each other for 12 years and didn't make a single move in those years to form a relationship. But they had boyfriends and girlfriends when their feelings were so strong. Yeah, I think that's a valid criticism. Like, you're telling me in 12 years nothing ever happened and that you were able to have long-term successful relationships with other people when you're apparently so in love. Like, it's not the most ludicrous concept in the world, but I do understand where this person's coming from. And this person has just gone, is there at least good smut? No. Is there at least good drama? No. There's not good drama. It's awful drama. I was getting really frustrated with the drama, but I enjoyed the smut. But it doesn't take much to impress me on smut because I don't read a lot of it. I just found it so boring, and the two main characters are just so bland. And Poppy is absolutely obsessed with Alex to an unhealthy extent. I kind of agree. They are very bland. They don't stick in your head at all. I'm gonna stick with my 3 stars, but I'm leaning more towards the 1-star reviews than the 5-star reviews. But I wouldn't say I necessarily agree with the 1 stars. So we'll keep it at 3. I stand by my decision, but if I had to pick, 1 star wins. And so there is my Can Goodreads Change My Mind video. I don't put a huge amount of books in these videos just because they take a long time to edit. So I hope that this is enjoyable nonetheless. Let me know down in the comment section if you agree with the 1 stars, the 5 stars, or my 3 stars. We can chat about it, discuss it. There's some controversial ones in this video. And also let me know if you want to see more of these videos. I have to wait until I have a nice little selection of 3-star reviews, but I'm quite a middle-of-the-road reviewer sometimes, so let me know if you want to see another one, and I'm sure I can do that for you. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to check out the other one and you'd like to see more in the future, or you just like me, do feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below. I upload on a Wednesday and a Friday, so there's no shortage of bookish content here for you to enjoy. I hope that you are having a fantastic week and that you are enjoying everything you are reading and there are no reading slumps in your future, and I will see you for my next video. Bye guys.